radiation?
That was before.
And all the tissue was negative that they took out at that time?
Yes,
Okay, and then eventually the PSAs continued to rise and they made a biopsy and got to make the diagnosis.
that's correct.
Okay. Now, one thing I will tell you that hopefully that as you get further and further out from the radiation therapy, some of that frequency and urgency should start to die down. If it does not, there's some medicines out there, like some anticholinergics, like ditropan and then there's the beta adrenergics like myrbetrix that can slow down some of that frequency and urgency of urination. So if you still continue to have that, several months, a year or so out from your radiation, ask your doctor about some of those. So because some of that could probably enhance the control, some of that actually decrease some of the frequency and urgency of urination that you're having.
And in fact, I was taking Mabitri, but unfortunately, about a month or so ago, my insurance company
won't pay for it.
They wouldn't pay for it.
Like I say, these insurance companies and this technology having to do computerized medicine is gonna make me retire quickly.
And it was working too.
Yes, it's a good drug. It is a good drug.
And with saying that, how much is that drug if he had to pay for it out of pocket?
Wow. Each program will have a different copay. I'm sure are you in one of the Medicare HMOs?
Military TRICARE.
TRICARE, and they wouldn't pay for it?
No.
And you're in TRICARE for life, right?
Yes.
You need to call President Biden. Tell them they need to tighten up. Like he doesn't have enough to worry about. No, each insurance carrier will have somewhat of a formulary that they will pay for, and they're always going to gravitate to whatever they can get the cheapest drug for. And they probably increase your copay. They'll pay a little something, but your copay is probably going to be somewhat astronomical. But myrbetriq is a good drug. The side effect profile is quite good. But there are some other drugs that they may pay for that may give you some benefit also. Like one of the older drugs, ditropan, but most adults don't tolerate that very well.
And can I just say this? Something was going on with the broadcast, so it just actually is live. So I'm going to ask just a couple of questions, basic questions about the prostate so that we can recap, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. Dr. Bridges, kind of recap what the prostate is and what you recommend to your patients in terms of, if we can use this term, having a healthy prostate.
Well, prostate basically is for reproduction. Most of the ejaculate, approximately 40-45% of the ejaculate comes from the prostate, the remainder pretty much from the seminal vesicles, which has to pass through the prostate. And of course, as we age, the prostate tends to grow. And as it grows, it tends to cause bladder outlet obstruction. In other words, making it difficult to urinate, causing frequency and urgency of urination, maybe getting up at night to go to the bathroom. And as it continues, if it's not treated, it may cause what we call urinary retention, where you cannot urinate at all. And of course, the other thing that may happen is that as we age, the chance of developing prostate cancer also increases. Now, keeping the prostate healthy, as I say, you got to keep the body healthy. There's no particular pill or drug that's going to target the prostate and make it healthier than any other organ in your body. You got to take care of yourself, keeping your weight under control, everything else in line. And also having good genetics passed on to you, you can't beat it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And to the gentleman, would you recap your journey with prostate? Charlie, first.
I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2019. And because I had previously been being checked, having my PSA level checked every 3 to 6 months, that's one of the reasons they were able to get it early. So that's one of the key things, to have yearly checkups. Go see your urologist. So I was diagnosed in 2019. In 2020, I started 38 days of radiation treatment. I completed the treatment in March of 2020. And since that point, I have my PSA level dropped from a 5 to a 0.07. So I'm in the stage where I'm being observed every 3 to 6 months to check my PSA level. But the key point is they got it early. Check up yearly.
Yes. And Charlie, if you don't mind sharing your age with us.
I am 73.
A young 73, a good looking 73.
Whoop, whoop.
All right.
Yes, so that's wonderful. And Wendell, share a recap with us your journey.
Quickly, mine started like Charlie said, the importance of getting an annual exam. Through my annual exam in 2015, my PSA has shot up, so they did biopsies, and I had what they call cryosurgery in 2015, where they froze half my prostate. Circle back to last year, late last year, my PSA had gone back up. They did a biopsy and some other scans and MRIs, and it had come back not just on the side that hadn't been cryosurgery, but it came back on the side with the cryosurgery also. So on March 2nd of this year, I had the radical prostatectomy, I believe it's called, with a robotic prostatectomy, where they went in and they actually took my prostate out. So now I go back on June 9th to get my PSA checked. So it should be great. That's what I'm looking forward to.
And have you made any lifestyle changes, like Dr. Bridges mentioned, eating healthy, those kinds of things, pre-surgery and post-surgery?
Yes, and both of them, in pre-surgery and also post-surgery, my overall journey is one, like Dr. Bridges has shared and Bernard shared, of just overall health. The prostate cancer is genetic in my family. Both my brothers had it. Other family members have had it. So there's certain things you can prevent, but there's a whole lot of things that you can't prevent. I'll give you an example. I had a cousin named Scott. We're sitting around the table, man, we're fat because of genetics. I said, no, man, we're fat because we eat too much. So we got to take ownership of our lives to get healthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bernard, would you share your insight in this area?
It's just like Dr. Bridges said earlier, overall body health. You can eat healthy. It's a choice. If you have excess weight, it's a choice. There are ways to reduce that weight. You don't have to do it overnight. But if your overall body is healthy, your immune system is stronger to fight off cancers and everything else. And also what's important is that we have to focus on cardiovascular health. A lot of people have heart disease and they may not realize it, but that's a key factor in developing all kinds of other types of diseases. If you don't have good plumbing through your body, you're not getting enough oxygenation to all those cells, they can't do what they're designed to do. So focus on overall body health, focus on your weight, try to reduce stress, and those habits we know are detrimental to our body, smoking, excess alcohol, and other activities. Got to make that choice because you have the ability to make that choice. Everybody listening now can do that.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, I know we could go on, and I don't want us to belabor the hour, although something happened with my broadcast. And we may have to redo this conversation down the road, and hopefully you guys won't mind doing that because it's that important. And particularly with my brother David, us losing him, I guess a week behind Wendell. And I remember when Wendell had his surgery, and I was excited that he came out of that surgery well. And then the next week I lost my brother. And so I want to make sure that we are passing on information, the urgency of people getting the check, men getting the check, women being a bugaboo, if that's what it takes, meeting with urologists, like Dr. Bridges, who's located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm not sure, Dr. Bridges, you said something about retirement, but if you're not retired yet, are you open to see new patients?
I do see new patients on a referral basis, yes.
Okay, so would you like to share where you're located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
Sure. I'm at 777 Hennessy Boulevard, Suite 608, Baton Rouge. Been in that same place for 34 years now.
34 years. Wow, that's amazing. Your bio is so impressive. And so thank you for all the lives that you have impacted and have saved over these 35 years, because your journey started in the military. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I saw someone else was in the military. I'm retired lieutenant colonel. I did all my training in the service, internship at Fitzsimmons, my residency at Madigan, and then I was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky for 4 years before I went into private practice. Still love the
Yep.
military. I miss putting on my uniform.
And that will be Lieutenant Colonel Charlie James. Is that right?
That's
Colonel
right.
James?
Air Force.
Air
They were good
Force.
support. They were good support for the Army. They carried us where we needed to go.
Air Force versus Army. So so I just want to say thank you. I know my brother is out here. I'm gonna allow him to come in and say a few words. Thank you for being his best friend, Dr. Bridges, taking
Good.
care of him, keeping him out of as much trouble as you possibly can.
You know that's a job. But no,
It's a job.
thank you for putting on the show, because let's face it, education is what we need to do. I mean, we react and treat, but we need to educate to get people to understand, like everybody said, get your screening. You know, getting that prostate exam is not going to change your sexuality.
Right.
If you think it is, you had problems from the beginning that had nothing to do with that rectal exam.
Exactly.
Trust me on that. So appreciate you putting out the information for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And before we depart, I would like for you guys to just share a parting word to the audience. Wendell?
Don't be embarrassed and don't give in to the stigma, and listen to what your doctor said to get healthy. And also share your experiences with other people so we can have a conversation talking about prostate similar to the one that we talk about sports.
Yes. Charlie James?
Just I'll reemphasize yearly exams. Get them. Talk to your doctor. Even though it may be embarrassing or whatever, talk to him or her. Let them know what's going on. Yearly exam.
Absolutely. Bernard?
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to repeat that. Yearly exams are critical. Watch your overall health. That'll ensure that you'll be able to handle any challenge health-wise that comes in your way.
Absolutely. Dr. Bridges?
I agree 100% with what everyone has said. And ask your doctor the question. You paying him.
That's right.
Absolutely. Because, I look at it as being in partnership. So they're not inside of your body, but you are, and they have the expertise. So if you work together in concert, you should be able to come up with something that will work for you when you work together. But you have to communicate with that professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then for the wives or the support people or the women, whomever, what would you suggest to them, Charlie James? How should they, they have a husband who's somewhat reluctant. How do you encourage that wife, that girlfriend, that friend, that sister? Because I wish I had more conversations with my brother in detail about his diagnoses, but I didn't.
Okay. A little joke. Take out a rolling pin and go upside his head.
Oh, Lord.
It's support. Just be there. Talk. Make them talk. But I still emphasize, we as men shouldn't have to wait for our wives to make us do things, to go to the doctor. Because if we put it on the wife, then we're going to say they're nagging. So to just be supportive, make the appointment, and then it's up to us as men whether we go or not. So that really, when it comes down to the bottom line, it's really up to us as men to take responsibilities for our own bodies.
Absolutely. And
And that's
Wendell,
why
you,
these programs that you're doing are so important. It's called education.
that's it. That's it. And Wendell, I know you have a woman in your life, your fiance, who has been by your side. What would you say to women out there who need to know how to handle their man when they're dealing with some of the inefficiencies? They're not, they're in the discovery mode. They're trying to figure out what's going on.
Bottom line, keep in mind why you are in love and attracted to that person. Look at that whole person and not what they're going through as a deficiency. It's a part of life. It's sad that we will watch a high school basketball game. Somebody will fall, break his leg, the bone will show through, and we have sympathy toward them, but we can't talk about our most intimate issues. So for me to have the support that I have in my fiance, Denise Marie Warner, I'll give her a shout out because I'm totally in love with her. And she supported me and I stayed with her the first 2 weeks. She made sure that I did not do anything and treated me like a king, but she always does that. She had just more emphasis because I was laying around more. So just showing that love and support, realizing why you're there. But like Charlie said and all the other men said, it's up to us as men. Don't be a 50, 60, 70-year-old boy trying to hide something from yourself and being in denial thinking that it's going to go away.
That's true.
That's
So
good.
true.
That's good.
So true. So
Yeah.
true.
Ricky, did you want to share anything before we close out on this relevant topic?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, I just want to say to all of the guys that's on the show that it's been very informative, and this is one conversation that most men, like you all have alluded to earlier, don't want to talk about. But guess what? My brother was dear to me, and I lost him in a way that I still can't believe it. I think about it every day, and men need to just be aware that they need to handle their business because this is a serious conversation. And my hat goes off to y'all, my best friend. I'm glad he's my doctor also. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Much respect.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's definitely been a tough one for us. So I really want people to understand the importance of getting their prostates checked, and not only just the prostate, but other areas of their lives, because we don't need to lose people prematurely. And I think that's what has happened in so many lives. And so I wanted to have this conversation, and we will have another one down the road about this same topic, because I think it's that important to save lives, particularly looking at the statistics of African American men at the top of the radar board. We need to make sure we do some work in our race, not just our race, but particularly in our race, and not be afraid of having this conversation. So kudos to you guys. Thank you for taking the time. Charlie and Wendell, particularly for sharing your journey, your personal journey. Bernard and Dr. Bridges for sharing your expertise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure's been mine.
Yes, blessings to each and every one of you all.
I look forward to a follow-up because I'm gonna have to ask these gentlemen how they're doing, because I've followed patients for many years and I kind of know where you are in your progression. And I just want to hope and pray that you progress as you should in your recovery from your prostate cancer, that is.
Yes, and we'll definitely set this up in a couple of months.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you all, and I'm glad to call you my friends.
Thank you.
My friend as well.
Yes.
Good evening.
Take care. Have a good evening.
Thank you much.
Bye-bye. Thank you for watching this episode of Life with Shenita about prostate cancer, and men getting their checks and making sure that they are living a healthy lifestyle. Not only men, but women too. As one of the men said, inflammation in the body breeds disease. So we have to make sure that we're doing what's necessary. I know I'm having this conversation with myself and trying to make adjustments in my own personal life. So I hope that everyone will take assessments of their own lives and do what's necessary so that they can live a healthy lifestyle and be around for a long time for their family members and friends. Remember to join us each and every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again for joining this show, Life with Shenita. And you can also catch us on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. on FAM Radio. If Thursdays don't work for you, Wednesday nights are an option. Thank you. And remember, I love you, but God loves you most, and He loves you best. Peace, love, and joy. Until next week, we will have a conversation about mental health. I will have my co-host, Wendell Limitless Hollins, to host that show for me in my absence on next Thursday. Mental health. Take care.